Well, I mean, you acted, I think, how most of us would. We've talked to the Palins about this many times, not just Governor Palin, but Todd and her brother and her dad, about how they keep it all together when she's relentlessly attacked and Bristol's relentlessly attacked. And so I think you did what, most people probably would do. Certainly I would. And the other thing, too, is if someone that this is all anti-Palin sentiment. The message could say anything. It could say she cured cancer and AIDS, and they would still say, well, yeah, but she didn't really mean it. She fell into that, some nonsense. So, and if it was someone that he liked, he would post, oh, this is wonderful. So we know where that type of person's coming from. And hey, what are you going to do? But, well, listen, we're praying for your son and feeling confident about it, really. And I mean, it's tough, like you said, to see him go wherever he's going. And in this situation, pros and cons for that, too. But I think y'all are going to handle it just fine. And before I let you go, JD, I want to ask you about Missing Stateside. Still going strong?
You know what, Kevin? I'm going to break some bad news right here on the air with you and your great show. We decided to retire the band. I had a long talk with the band members, and we've been doing this for 12 years. We have raised a lot of money for charities and different organizations that we care about, and we've had a blast playing for everybody and all the military. And look, no one wants to see an old fat guy like me jump around on stage anymore. And I wanted to spend some time with my son before he left to serve our country. And now that my wife and I retired, I wanted to spend more time with her. And so the band agreed. We had a long talk, and we pulled the plug on it in a good way, in a good note. We ended on a good note. We didn't do the bad Van Halen breakup or anything like that. So we've had a lot of fun, and we're still getting asked to do things. I'm going to try to write some music on my own again and just relax and sit back and enjoy other bands now.
Wow. Okay, JD. Well, that is news, and we do appreciate all that Missing Stateside did, not only musically and certainly adding to this program over the past years musically and also with you being on here, but certainly what you've done for all our veterans. But, yeah, we know a guy like you will never give up music as a whole, that's for sure.
Oh, not at all. And I still owe you a song, and as soon as things settle down here and I get my emotions straight, I'm going to get on that. I got to get you another song that you can use, and I'm looking forward to that.
Well, that would be unbelievable. That would be awesome. And of course, you mentioned Van Halen. How could you not with the Palin show, right?
I know. Hey, I'll tell you what. Our family's got some good music folks in it, and we admire the heck out of a lot of bands out there. And Sarah's crazy when it comes to music. She likes everything. I remember being down at her in 2008. We were down in Arizona on election night, and I got to meet this big old tall guy wearing glasses and cowboy boots, and he went by the name of Hank Williams Jr. and it's just amazing all the people that are musically talented that surround themselves with Sarah, and Sarah surrounds herself with them, and so it was kind of nice for me to be able to meet those folks.
That is tremendous. What a great story. Well, J.D. Morgan, formerly of the band Missing Stateside, but currently a great dad, husband, great American, grandfather. Let's go. You brought up old fat guy, so I'm going to throw granddad in there. You said it first.
No, you're right. You're right.
But we appreciate everything you do. And again, when you do get in contact with your son, wish him the best from us and from everybody here, because we are thinking about it. I told my kids about him. I said, yeah, his mommy and daddy were in the Air Force, and now he's doing it. We have an Air Force family down the street as well, and my granddad was Air Force. So, we love all our military, but a little special place in our heart for the Air Force, no doubt. So all the best, JD, and thanks for everything you do for our program and everything for our country, of course. And we'll be thinking about you and talking to you soon, I hope.
Absolutely. And Kevin, again, thank you for everything you're doing, reaching out with you and your folks that are following you, and Sarah. You guys got a great thing going, and I appreciate the hell out of everything you're doing for Sarah, supporting her and her cause, and the cause of Americans. The true Americans and the people that really love our country. And Kevin, you are a patriot, and I love everything you're doing. And I love the fact that you're coaching your kids, too. I heard that. So I appreciate you and what you're doing, Kevin.
JD, that means a lot. Thank you, sir.
All right.
For more on JD Morgan, visit MissingStateside.com. Sarah Palin took to Facebook this past week to announce some big news. Palin saying, "This week I temporarily dig into my journalism roots. guest hosting on point for One America News. I'm excited to be asked to take this opportunity to give voice to so many good people I hear from every day. Well, she did not disappoint. Palin had a great crop of guests, including Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, and Orrin Hatch. And she tackled numerous issues, including ESPN's hypocrisy when it comes to conservatives, in this case, former pitcher Curt Schilling. I had the honor of being Governor Palin's guest on that topic, and it was a pleasure. Thank you, Governor, for having me on. Palin also spoke to the Stump for Trump girls, Diamond and Silk, and she did a tremendous job in her role. We have some of the videos from Palin's One America News stint right on the Mama Grizzly Radio Facebook page. Be sure to check them out. To see any of the governor's posts in their entirety, visit Sarah Palin's Facebook page. Follow her on Twitter at Sarah Palin USA and head to sarahpalinchannel.com.
Now, the Palin Update with Kevin Scholla presents Liberty and Legacy. Here's Tamara Colbert.
We still live in a country when individuals can do heroic things. I think about the 3 Americans who risked their own lives to save the people on a French train recently. I think about Dr. Ben Carson, who spoke up at the National Prayer Breakfast against President Obama and his progressive policies. I think about Donald Trump, who's put his money where his mouth is and is running for president because he sees the desperate hour our nation is in. And of course, I look at our favorite governor, Sarah Palin, who dared to speak truth and promote life with her beautiful boy, Trig, and single-handedly revitalized John McCain's dying presidential campaign in 2008. She was punished with teams of lawyers and Democrat hacks and the alphabet networks, thinking that they could trick and trip her up. Thank you, Sarah, for always pushing the envelope and reminding us that Americans were made to push the envelope and that our country was founded by pushing the envelope and never, ever settling for the status quo. Throughout our history, America's greatness remains with her citizens who rise to meet the challenges of the day. I love it when I think about all of these heroes, most of them nameless and faceless, unsung throughout our history. No time has this been more evident than the beginning of the Tea Party. We live, friends, in extraordinary times. I am thankful every single day for the fact that I get to wake up and I get to live now. And right now, our nation hangs in the balance. Our biggest question is, do we reignite the fire of constitutional liberty, or do we allow ourselves to feel hopeless and go forward on Obama's pathway toward a European socialism? Recently, I provided commentary. I felt like I was all alone on the battlefield when I provided commentary on a national television show panel with a Democrat strategist who scolded me because I termed Elizabeth Warren a socialist. He told me that progressives don't like to be called socialists, and I was being very mean-spirited towards her by calling her that. Potato, potato. Then I saw a great headline in a Forbes article that says, "Hey, Elizabeth, crony socialism, not crony capitalism, is the problem." And I thought, touche. Progressives are trying, and have been for 100 years, have tried to sell the American people that our American way of life is rigged against them, and Republicans, conservatives, Christians are to blame. This theme has been shouted by Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and slightly paraphrased by Hillary Clinton because, let's face it, she doesn't have the guts to actually speak out with a socialism bent. She's too busy trying to duck and cover to figure out how to spin this email fiasco. But I am tired. I'm tired of the perpetual mouse wheel of government pork and laziness that never works for the people, but only against you and me. Trump has struck a nerve. Carson has struck a nerve. Cruz has struck a nerve. And that nerve is the American people are sick and tired of being bashed and bullied and battered by a federal government system that is rigged to work against them. It's rigged to work against you and me. You bet. Actually, the progressives are half right. The only rigging, though, going on is the federal government that has rigged to work against the American people through punitive ways and taxes and other burdens. It isn't the private sector we should be worried about. It's our federal government. At every turn, they are using the EPA, the FDA, HUD, education, and more, the IRS, to punish Americans. But I want to tell you, be hope-filled, because something's happening. This week, the Convention of States Project launches its first ever national ad campaign on the Mark Levin Show, with the goal of getting 200,000 more patriots to sign up. Well, of course, you have been listening to Mark Levin and you know about Article 5. But now, the Convention of States Project is joining forces with one of the biggest voices in talk radio. And of course, we've got to give Mark Levin now his general stars in the grassroots army of the Convention of States Project, because together we are going to help reclaim constitutional self-governance in America. But we can't do it with just Mark Levin. It has to be you. You have to step up. I need your help. We need to stick together and make this happen. Levin tells us that we must use the Constitution to save the Constitution. And think about this. How brilliant were our founding fathers. They gave us Article 5, a constitutional, legal, and lawful mechanism for you and I to rise up against a crony, tyrannical, and corrupt federal government. And that time is now. Today, 80% of Americans want term limits on federal officials. 80% of Americans want a balanced budget that requires a fiscally responsible management and fiscally responsible solutions for good stewardship of taxpayers' money. These people want to abolish the IRS and come up with a fair or a flat tax that is equally dispersed among all Americans. So every one of us has skin in the game. Unfortunately, right now, today, we live under two constitutions. The one you and I love and respect that is under thick glass in the Library of Congress, and then the second one that's been redefined over the last 100 years of bad leadership by the Supreme Court's ridiculous decisions, an executive branch, or a president that we know of, who refuses to follow the Constitution, and a Congress and Senate comprised of weak, spineless jellyfish who refuse to stand up to use the power you and I entrusted them with to support what we believe. It is time now to return the power to the rightful owners. You and me, we are the sovereign citizens of these United States. Together, we're going to do this. Sarah Palin, Bristol Palin, Mark Levin, Bobby Jindal, Mike Huckabee, Rush, Sean, Glenn, and more believe that Article 5 is the answer for us being able to stop Washington, D.C. I want you to learn more at www.conventionofstates.com. Together, we can become that beacon of liberty again in our nation and help reblaze the path back to liberty. This week, I need you to tweet me at Tamara Colbert if you think we should use the Constitution to save the Constitution. I'll be sharing your thoughts with Mark Levin this week. I can't wait to read them. For Mama Grizzly Radio, I'm Tamara Colbert.